Right. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Castiel Meddy. I use he, she, they pronouns, and I'm studying for special education.
I am Celestia. I normally just go by Celeste. I use she, her pronouns, and I am transgender and a lesbian.
I'm Viv. I go by they, them pronouns, but I don't really care what people call me, to be honest. I'm Viv. I go by they, them pronouns, but honestly, I don't really care what people refer to me as long as they, acknowledge my chosen name.
My name is Taliana Rubin. I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm bisexual.
I'm Austin. I'm a radio TV broadcasting major. I identify as trans and my pronouns are he, they.
What does LGBTQIA plus stand for?
Lesbian,
Gay,
Bisexual,
trans or transgender,
queer,
Questioning,
intersex.
asexual, agender, aromantic, plus the spectrum, because there are a lot of identities.
What are your labels and how do you use them?
I label myself as trans. I'm asexual. It just means that I'm not really into the sex stuff.
I don't necessarily love to put a label on myself, but if I did, I would put queer because I'm just attracted to who I'm attracted to. And for my gender identity, I don't really label that as well either, so I just say non-binary, because I am outside of the binary spectrum. My labels are queer, gay, and also trans. I use trans as an umbrella for my gender identity. Gay and queer can both be used interchangeably, but I'm mostly more attracted to men or male presenting.
I am gender fluid, which means my gender fluctuates over time. I am aeroflux, so my romantic attraction fluctuates over time. I am asexual, which means I do not experience sexual attraction. And I don't feel the need to define a tertiary attraction if I'm attracted to mostly feminine, mostly masculine people.
I identify as bisexual, and I use that to let people know that I'm attracted to both men, women, non-binary people. I'm just attracted to who I'm attracted to, and some people would call that pansexuality. I've just always used bi. Personally, I had a partner who came out as trans, and I didn't really know what to label myself for a while, so I did go by queer, which is a term I've heard to apply to many things, sort of an umbrella term. But after being with that person for a while, I realized that I am attracted to women, and I just hadn't let myself accept it. After that, I started being more open and accepting of myself as bisexual.
I think lesbian is the only sexuality label that I use. I use it for two reasons. First, because I like girls, and I don't think that's wrong. Secondly, because I am a girl, and it would still be accurate to call me gay, but it would also be less respectful, because that implies that I'm not a girl too, that I'm outside of it somehow.
What is the function of labeling your sexuality?
Helps me to find other people like me and to share similar experiences. And also it's a fun tool to make jokes about.
The function is to help, narrow it down if someone wants to do that. I don't say you necessarily have to put yourself in a box like that, as it is just more of a spectrum. I say there really is no function. There is no pressure to put a label on someone, but just sometimes a label really does help me narrow it down.
I think the function depends on the person. I guess for me, the function is a declaration of who I am and who I want to be with. And that's probably true for most people, but the who I am part is a bit more emphasized with me, I think.
It's to let other people know what you're attracted to. I think some people can find it very helpful to label, oh, well, I'm gay, I'm attracted to men, I'm attracted to women. Honestly, I don't know if it's the most important thing, but it is to some people, to make sure that they have a word.
It gives me a stronger sense of identity. It makes me more sure of myself, just like, yes, I am this. This is who I am, this is what I am, and I'm comfortable like this.
Why are there so many labels nowadays?
Because sometimes a lot of people need options, and choosing options it's more of just a journey of self-discovery, and using different labels really helps people with one's self-discovery. Because I know people love to have options, It really helps with self-identity and discovery.
Gender and sexuality are a spectrum. There are general terms, of course, there are umbrella terms, but sometimes even those terms under the umbrella terms don't quite define you. It can be kind of close at times, but they don't quite define you.
Language has always been an evolving medium. That's how language works. It's a living communal practice. It's not just a static thing. So as we find more accurate ways to describe the way that we feel, we try to do that more succinctly. The labels that we have now that we didn't before are because we have found more accurate ways of describing it in a more concise way.
Because a lot of people want to feel heard and feel connected. And sometimes a general label kind of gets there, but they feel more heard with a specific label.
I think a lot of people feel like there are a lot of labels, and part of that comes from something called micro-labeling. So you might have someone say, I think the most common of this is the expression aro-ace. So someone who's aromantic and asexual. So they experience no romantic attraction and no sexual attraction. And so when you hear someone say, oh, I'm aro-ace, it sounds like a whole new identity. When really it's just a combination of two labels. And people do that all the time. Like, I'm bi-romantic. So they might only have sexual attraction to one gender, but romantic attraction to both. Or, I'm straight, but I'm homo-romantic. I experience romantic attraction, or maybe even just sexual attraction to the other gender. So you get lots of combinations of words that aren't necessarily formal labels, but that help people feel comfortable to have an easy way to explain how they experience attraction or their gender to other people. And I think that can be very overwhelming. But I don't think there's anything wrong with asking people, what does that mean? Can you explain it to me? And so, yeah, there are a lot of words, but most of them are just combinations of labels that already exist.
Are labels a good thing or a bad thing?
Depends on who you are. For me, labels are a good thing. They allow me to find people like me. For some people, a lot of people in my family, they feel like they are confining and restricting, and a lot of people will see their labels before them as a person.
It depends on the person. I can see how they're both useful and a bad thing, as it does, in a bad way, put someone in a box that they don't want to be, but for a good way, it does help people discover themselves a lot better. To me, they're a good thing because they do help others identify and help on their self-expression journey, but I can also see how it can be a bad thing, to where it's like putting someone into a box when they don't need to be put in that box.
I think they're a good thing. It's your choice whether you want to use them, but I think they're a good thing for helping you figure out exactly what you are. You can always use the simpler terms like, I am this, or I am this and that, but having the more specific terms can definitely make explaining things a little easier, because then someone could just Google that term.
Right now, I think labels are good. I think maybe one day labels will be really like a thing of the past, and everyone could just accept everyone. That would be amazing. And we wouldn't have to have all these words and identifiers and terms to tell other people that we're different. It would just be okay to be different. But right now, I think they're a good thing because they're a quick and easy way to communicate who you are and your attraction and your identity without having to vaguely explain a very complicated expression that is very personal, and you might not even fully understand it yourself yet.
I think they're a good thing. I would prefer to live in a world where they weren't necessary, but they are. Being able to have a word, a name for what you feel or for what you are, is one of the most powerful things in the world. If you don't know how to describe what you feel, then you're never going to be able to cope with it. You're never going to be able to grow up or move on or think about something else. Labels mean a lot to some people, and I think it would be unfair not to respect that.